All right, today we're going to talk about area of a circle. We've been talking about circumference, which is the measurement around the circle, but now we're going to talk about area, which is what's inside the circle, okay? So it's everything inside the circle, all right? If you don't have your note-taking sheet while you're taking these, if we didn't get that to you, just feel free to use a piece of notebook paper. You can make that work for you. All right, so we have the formula for area of a circle is area equals pi r squared. And for today, we're going to use pi 3.14. So for this first example, find the area of each circle, use 3.14 for pi. So right here, just like with when we were calculating circumference, the distance from side to side straight across is our diameter. So our diameter here is 5.2. And our radius is diameter divided by 2, which gives us 2.6. So all we're going to do now is just put our formula up here. Area equals pi r squared. And I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to do some substitution here. So pi 3.14 times 2.6 squared. So 3.14 and 2.6 squared is 2.6 times 2.6 is 6.76. So the area of this circle with a diameter of 5.2 is 21.23 or 21 and 23/100 meters squared. Make sure you have your units there. All right, now we have a circle that's actually on a coordinate plane. Okay, so we're gonna have to determine what our radius is here. So I'm gonna take from my center point, I'm gonna go out to the side. I'm just gonna count my units. So if we start at 1 and we go to 5, we're gonna do 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have 4 units for our radius. So I'm just gonna put radius is 4. And it didn't tell us what the actual units was, so we're just going to say units. We don't know if it's centimeters or inches or anything like that. So we're just going to go ahead and just say it 4 units. So I'm going to go ahead and put my formula up here again. Area equals pi r squared. Area equals pi, which is 3.14, times 4 squared. And 3.14 times 4 squared, which is 16. My area equals 50 and 24 units. 50 and 2400 units squared. When you get one on future assignments, or if you have something on the coordinate plane on a future test, just make sure you find the center and just count to the side, which is going to be your radius. So here, if I actually asked you what is the diameter of this, you would just say your diameter is 8, because remember, radius times 2. All right, I'm going to go ahead and flip to the inside of my notes. If you're just using notebook paper, you can just continue on. All right, so now we have a word problem, which we all love. So Brian made a tasty burger. The diameter, so it's our first key word here, of the burger was 5 centimeters. In terms of pi, what is the area of the burger? So the first thing we know, we're going to have to use area equals pi r squared. Another thing too, it says in terms of pi. So that's a little different than what we're used to seeing, so I'm going to talk through that as I go here. So the first thing I'm going to do is I always like to draw my circle. And I know my diameter is 5 centimeters. So my diameter would be 5 centimeters and my radius would be 2.5 centimeters. I just like to go ahead and write everything down as I'm working through a problem. It just makes it easier for me. All right, so we're just gonna go over here and take the information that we know from the circle that I've drawn. I'm just gonna plop it in over here. So I know pi is 3.14. And my radius is 2.5 squared. Make that just a little bit better. All right, so here we go. Area equals pi times 2.5 squared. So it said in units of pi. So let me go ahead and do this part first. So 2.5 squared is 2.5 times 2.5, which is 6.25. But it told me to leave it in terms of pi. So that means that I don't have to multiply this 6.25 or 6 and 2500ths. All I have to do is I just have to leave it in terms of pi. So 6.25 pi centimeters squared. And sometimes, occasionally, even on the EOG, they say leave it in terms of pi. So you don't have to do that extra step with multiplying that 6.25 times pi. You just leave it 6.25 pi. All right. We're just going to keep on going here. The best thing to do with this is just practice, practice, practice. And so we're going to give you other opportunities to practice area of a circle. So this is just really our note-taking sheet and your resource. So as you're going ahead and practicing, it's a good thing to have your notes next to you. All right, so find the radius of a circle that has an area of 254 and 3400ths. So we got to find the radius of a circle, and we know it has the area up to 254.34. All right, this is similar to one that we had on warm-up the other day. So we have to determine the area in order to figure out what the radius is. So we're going to start with our formula. Area equals pi r squared. And then we're going to go ahead and figure this one out. So area, we already know, is 254 and 3400ths equals pi r squared. We're just going to work our way down with what we know, because we know that pi is 3.14. And if we multiply that by r squared, we got r squared. So now we have 254.34 equals 3.14 r squared. So just like when we rewind to when we did equations, and we're always doing equations, we're going to have solved this one. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go ahead and put my line down, my equal sign. So to go ahead and get my variable by itself, just like we did when we did equations, we're going to divide both sides by 3.14. So 3.14 divided by 3.14 gives me 1. So I'm left over here with r squared. And on the other side, I have 81. All right, just like we did inverse operations with multiplication is division and the division is multiplication, when you have r squared, what we're going to do is it's inverse operation. So we're going to find the square root. So I'm going to go ahead and find the square root of both sides. So I can go ahead and make this r over here and find my radius, and the square root of 81 is 9. So here, my radius is 9. And this is very similar to our warm-up from the other day. Also, use your warm-ups as review tools too. Those are great ways to just have short little snippets of everything that we do in class. All right, I think we're ready to move on to something else. And this one is find the area of each shaded region. If you have a shape inscribed on a shape, you find the area of those shapes, then you subtract the areas. So what we're going to do is we're going to make it very easy on ourselves here, and we're going to be organized. So I have square that I have to find the area of, and then I have to find the circle. This is the easiest thing to do to keep us organized. So let's go ahead and do our square first. So area of a square is base times height. That's my formula. So here, I'm going to use my highlighter. This tells me that each side, because the square is the same on all sides, is 28. So my measurement is 28. So I'm going to do 28 times 28. My base is 28, my height is 28. So here, when I multiply this together, 28 times 28, I get a total of 784. I'm going to do the same thing with the circle. And my circle, area time equals pi r squared. So here I'm going to do a little bit more. I'm going to figure out the radius. So my radius is half of my diameter. So half of 28 is 14. So now we're just going to solve. So area equals 3.14 times 14 squared. So I have 3.14 times 196. And now I have a total of 615 and 44 hundredths when I multiply 3.14 times 196. Now the next step is that I have to subtract. So I'm going to subtract 784 minus 615.44. It gives me a total of 168.56 units squared because I was finding area. So this means 168.56 units squared is the area of this shaded region. So I had to find the area of both and then just subtract it out to find that. All right, let's move on. You can continue on your notebook paper if you don't have these notes, the note page. All right, calculate the area of the shaded region, okay? Now, you can't really see it on my sheet, so I'm going to go ahead and shade it in. There we go. So what's pink is what's shaded. All right, we're going to do the same thing as we did before on our previous example. I'm going to stay organized. So I'm going to do large circle and small circle. I'm going to find the area of both of these, and I'm going to subtract them. That's all I'm going to do. All right, so the large circle. My radius is 4. And for my small circle, my radius, my large circle is 7, sorry. Got ahead of myself. And my small circle is 4. And then we're just going to go ahead and substitute that value of 7 and for where the radius is in my area formula. So area equals pi r squared. Area equals 3.14 times 7 squared. 3.14 times 49 because 7 squared is 49. My area for the large circle is 153 and 86 hundredths. I'd encourage you also to start really trying to remember these formulas, definitely the difference between circumference and area. Okay, and the easiest way to remember that area, the area formula is, remember, square units. Okay, just like area is in any other figure that we're used to doing, square units. All right, so the next one, area equals pi r squared. Area equals 3.14 times 4 squared. Area equals 3.14 and 4 squared is 16. The area of this one is 50 and 24 hundredths. But I have to find the area of the shaded region. And remember, that's this area here. So I'm going to go ahead and write area of shaded region. So it'd be 153.86 minus 50.24 gives me a total of 103 and 62 hundredths. And this would be centimeters squared, or square centimeters. right, the next one is a word problem. Donna makes a round pizza. She wants to put a cheese layer on the pizza. If the pizza is 18 inches in diameter, how many square inches of cheese layer does she need to put on the pizza if she leaves an inch of crust around the outside of the pizza? Okay, so let's draw our pizza. And then she wants to have her cheese layer around the side. I'm going to do this with a highlighter so everybody can see, hopefully you can see it. This is going to just be my inch around. Okay, so she said that it's 18 inches, so that would be from here, including my highlighted edge. So I'm going to go ahead and just go back over that with a pen so everybody can see it. I'm sure that your pizza will look a lot better than mine. All right, so if it's 18 total. All right, but what we have to do is to find our diameter. Our diameter isn't going to be 18 here because we have an inch here, right? So we have to subtract an inch on both sides because we need to have that cheese, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and show you this. So 18 minus 1 now gives me a diameter of 16, okay? Because we have to take that cheese layer out. So here my diameter is going to be 16. My radius is going to be 8 because my radius is half of 16. And I'm just going to go ahead and do the same thing we've been doing the whole note-taking sheet. Area equals pi all squared. Area equals 3.14 times my radius is 8. Right here, radius is 8. So if I multiply 3.14 and 8 squared is 64. So if I multiply 3.14 times 64, I get 296 hundredths inches squared. Okay. I encourage you to practice as much as you can. If you need to, you can just go ahead and look at some PDFs that we're going to put up as well. That way you can just practice circumference, but also now that you know how to do area, practice area.